Hi, I'm Paul from Guru Parents, and this is part 2 of our introduction to the abacus for parents. In part 1, I introduced the soroban, the Japanese abacus, and gave you a basic idea of its functions. Today, let's move on to some addition.
Firstly, a quick recap. These yellow beads here are the earthly beads and they're worth 1. And these green beads are the heavenly beads and they're worth 5. And the way that we're going to use it, this column's the ones, these are the tens, the hundreds and the thousands. So for example, here's a number. 2,356. Okay, let's start adding. Now, some numbers are very simple to add. Take 1 and let's add 3 to it. Extremely easy. We simply push these 3 beads up and there's the answer, 4. What about if we wanted to add 5 to our 4? Again, very simple. This bead goes down and there we have it. The answer is 9. What about adding a further 5? Now we run into a little bit of a difficulty. There's no immediately obvious way of doing it. One way would be to just count a further 5. We've got 9, so if we add 1 to it, we now have 10. Add our second one, add third, add our fourth, add our fifth, we now have 14. 9 plus 5 equals 14.
Now, although that gave me the correct answer, it's obviously going to take forever if I had a longer sum to do. So, let's introduce our first trick. And here it is. Another way of saying to add 5 is to say, let's add 10 and then subtract 5. Let's have a look how it works.
So, to add 5 to 9, firstly I say I'll add 10, which means adding 1 to the tens column, and I'll subtract 5, moving this one up, and there we have it. The exact same answer as before, 14. Do that again one more time. So we've got 9. Instead of adding 10 first, I'll subtract the 5 first, and then add my 10, which is moving 1 up in this column. And there's the answer, 14. The reason for the slight difference is that that's the more efficient finger movement. So if you're going to do lots of large sums, it would be better to do it that way.
Now, for most adults, the fact that 5 can also be expressed as minus 5 plus 10 is pretty straightforward. But for young children, it's something that they need to learn. And so the more that they practice and have fun with the soroban, the more they will be familiar with that relationship and also the other relationships that I'll show you in future videos.
Now for some practice. I'll set up a number on the soroban and then add a lot of 5s to it. So here's the number. 2,537. To this number, I'm going to add 5,555. Sounds like quite an ambitious target, but in actual fact, all I need to do is add 5 to each column. And we work from left to right. So to begin with, nice and easy, adding 5, down that goes. To this next column, I can't add 5 directly, so I'll subtract 5 and add my 1 to the next column. Now into the next column here, adding 5 once again, very simple, and then into the last column, subtract 5 and add 1 to the next row, to the next column. So we're left with 8 here, nothing on this one, 9 on this one, 2 in this, that is 8,092.
So there you have it. That's how you add by 5. And now that you've learnt that first trick, the rest should be pretty simple. Stay tuned for the next video when I show you some more.